Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Maker's still on. Gotta keep my foot when a little bit of wind. It's pretty much dead inshore here.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
No, hello. Hello.
Okay, welcome to the bob around. There's very little wind, but I'm gonna try and sail anyways, even though there's no wind. Well, I wanted to come out and talk to you guys about what I am looking for in a boat, and I'm going to use as an example of that this boat, because Southern Cross actually has all the features that I'm looking for in my next boat. So I'm going to go through, I'll go through that list with you of sort of what are the top features that are the must-haves on a sailboat for me. And the reason that my list, or what is informing my list, I should say, is the fact that I do solo sail quite a bit. And you'll need to consider for yourself, if you're considering getting a boat, just how much solo sailing you're going to end up doing. And what I can tell you from experience is that if you want to sail a lot, then you have to be prepared to solo sail. Because even if your family is keen on it, they're not going to want to come out nearly as much as you. And so if you really want to use the boat and get your bang for your buck, and just to scratch that need to sail that some of us have, you're gonna have to sail alone sometimes, or maybe a lot of the time. So if you've done your soul searching and you've determined that you fall into that same category I do, then you're gonna wanna look for these features as well. So pretty much without exception, the number one thing that I need as a solo sailor is this guy right here. That is my autopilot. This autopilot, and I'll show a close up here. This autopilot allows me to do what I'm doing right now, which is to not pay any attention to what the boat is doing, which, by the way, is nothing, because we're just sitting here doing nothing. And it's like having a second crewmate on board. With the autopilot, you can control your heading, and you can do it in large increments, and when you do it, the wheel moves. If I go by another 10 degrees, the wheel will move again. I don't want any of that though, of course, so I'll just go standby auto. A functioning autopilot, the importance of it, it cannot be understated. It's such a critical piece of kit. So almost bar none, a functioning autopilot is the number one thing that I'm looking for in a boat. Number two is probably going to be the headsail, and that it be on what's called a furler. Okay. A furler is this drum here that's attached to a foil that the sail wraps itself around all the way up to the tippy top. And then there is a line coming from this furling drum around a turning block, down through some other fair leads, all the way to the back. And what that line allows me to do is that line allows me to control how much sail, or whether the sail is out at all, without coming up here and risking going for a swim. So from the safety of this cockpit, I can use that same blue line that you saw coming from the drum, and this line will allow me to bring the sail out and pull it back in. For a demonstration, there's no wind, so the sail will probably just end up coming straight back in. But bring it out, unhook it from the cam cleat, grab the sheet, start a little pull, use the winch to help, drag it out. So as you can see, the sail is just flogging. There's literally no wind, but you got a sense of how I was able to pull that out on my own in the safety of the cockpit. That's a pretty undeniable feature, a pretty important feature for me. I would not buy a boat that did not have a roller furling head sail. That's just a must. Okay, number 3. And this is related to the roller furling. The third most important thing is that all the lines must be led aft. So I do not have to go to the mast or leave the cockpit to do any of the mainsail controls. Main halyard, spinnaker halyard, Genoa halyard, uphaul, and boom vang are all led there. And the sheets on this boat, which is a plus, the head sail sheets come well far back, so that when I'm standing here, I can be on the helm and I can reach that sheet, bring it up, bring it around that winch. I can reach forward, grab the main sheet, no problem at all. No problem at all. So these turning blocks really help me out, because they put the sheet right to hand. It's right there. I don't have to move around at all. And not having to leave the cockpit when things are funky is nice, and I would say necessary. I do not want to have to go to the boom to raise or lower any sails if I don't have to. Okay, moving right along. Probably another absolute must-have, and if the boat that I'm looking at doesn't have it, the price will have to reflect that, because I'm going to have to buy them, is self-tailing winches. These puppies here make single-handing doable, from in my perspective. Yes, without self-tailing, you can do it. It's just now you need 2 hands, and it's just more work. So what I mean by self-tailing is in a non-self-tailing winch, the sheet just goes around the winch and you have to pull it like this, and then you have to have a cleat and cleat it off. And this boat used to have cleats here and here, but they've been removed. With the self-tailer, the cleat is actually built into the top here. So you wrap the line around, goes around the back like that, and there's teeth in here that are holding that line. And now, instead of having to tail, which means that as I would winch, I would have to pull with this line here and tail that line, tail it, it self-tails in that the sheet goes in there, whoops, and there's tension on it. It pulls it through, and I don't have to do anything with this hand. Now this hand is free to do whatever I need it to do. So self-tailing is critical, and I have a self-tailing winch up top here for the halyard. That's not necessary, but certainly nice to have. And then I installed this upgraded, just non-self-tailing Harken winch here, mostly because I don't use this one that often. Once the Genoa is set, that's sort of it for that sail. But yeah, self-tailing is king, and I personally wouldn't own a boat without it. Frankly, I forget what number I'm at. 5, 6, I don't know. But this is an important one for me. Lower on the list, we're at 5 or 6. But diesel motor. There are a lot of really nice boats on the Great Lakes that have atomic 4 motors, and even atomic 4 motors that have been well maintained and run well. But I have to tell you, I'm not interested in a gasoline motor for a few reasons. Firstly, they're complicated. That atomic 4 is dead simple, I know, but it's still complicated. It's got spark plugs, it's got a carburetor, it's got timing issues, and I know some people who have it, and they've got different issues in terms of when they have to turn seacocks on and off, and as much as I complain about the Yanmar on this, which is a SB12 single cylinder, because it is loud, but boy, it is dead simple, super easy to maintain, and absolutely sips diesel. So just to put it in perspective, I've had this boat for 7 years. I try to sail once a week during the sailing season, and also take trips, which I use the motor a bit more during. In that 7 years, I have, I think, in total, put about $120 worth of diesel into this boat, including this season. I had, my biggest fill up ever was $80, and then other than that, I've put like 2 jerry cans worth in 7 years. Like, it's a little insane, actually, how little fuel this thing uses. So you can't beat it. You can't beat the economics of the diesel motor in terms of its simplicity. But the number one reason to pick a diesel, for me personally, is diesel doesn't go boom in the way that gas does. It's a safety thing. So diesels are important to me. So whatever we're on now, 6 or 7, I don't know. But one thing that I'm looking for personally is I need a boat that sails well. I try to sail as much as possible. And not just because I have a noisy motor, but because I'm personally interested in sailing. That's why I'm out here right now flogging around doing 0.01 of a knot. I'm happy doing this. I don't mind it as long as I don't have anywhere to be in a hurry. So I want a boat that sails well, that sails quickly. So getting, I'm looking for a boat like a CS, a CNC, a J boat maybe, although they tend to be a little bit pricier. Something of that ilk. That's what I'm interested in getting. A Hinterholder design. Any of those boats are fine. They all sail well, and that's what I'm interested in. I want to be able to sail as much as possible for as long as possible in as many conditions as possible. So I'm not interested in a boat that may be a little bit fatter and a little bit more comfortable, but it doesn't sail well. I skew on the racer cruiser end of the spectrum. I'm definitely on the racer cruiser spectrum, not simply racer, not simply cruiser, but I'm definitely skewing more racer, and the boat has to sail well. So that's why I tend to look at CNCs almost more than anything else, because they have a deserved reputation for being boats that sail well and sail fast. and I like that. You know, as I've been sitting here bobbing around, I've thought of something else that's sort of a must, and that is this Dodger, or some kind of sun cover. It's racy to not have any canvas up. It's fast, but it's nice to have somewhere to hide from the sun when it's blasting like it is today. So yeah, some kind of canvas, preferably in good shape. This stuff is surprisingly expensive to have made because it's all custom. So you're paying someone on a per hour basis, a skilled person on a per hour basis. That ain't cheap. That ain't cheap. So hopefully the boat that I buy has that, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna need to have it made, because I'm pretty handy. I can do fiberglass work, I can do a bunch of work on the boat, but sewing canvas is not in my wheelhouse. So that would be a cost. So get yourself some good canvas. So some of the more astute viewers may be thinking to themselves, wait a second, he's just listed all the things that he wants in a boat, and the boat that he has right now has all those things. So why in tarnation, you may rightly demand, would he want to buy a new boat? Well, I think the simple answer to that is that I'm stupid. Stupid and a masochist, which is just a deadly combination. Beyond that, beyond those obvious points, I'm looking for, well, I'm looking for a project. It's nice to have something to fix up and do, and I've done enough. This boat isn't perfect by any means, but I've done enough to it that I'm satisfied with it. And but beyond that, even, I'm looking for something just a little bigger, a little quicker, because the longer the water line is, the faster the sailboat is. And so that additional speed interests me. The additional comforts that come with more space interest me. This boat is pretty much perfect for cruising this lake. As a single-hander, I couldn't ask for much more. But I have this niggly dream about going beyond this lake. Maybe traveling down the Erie Canal to the Hudson, from the Hudson down to Long Island Sound and up and around New England for a summer. That sounds pretty good to me. And that's not something that I would ever do in this boat. I wouldn't want to take a single cylinder, as reliable and efficient as it is. I wouldn't want to live with it for that long, for the amount of motoring that you would have to do, particularly through the canal, because you're motoring through the canal for, I want to say, at least a week, right? So yeah, bigger, quieter motor, more creature comforts. That's what I'm interested in, and a project. So that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way back up, slowly but surely. In the meantime, Southern Cross is still for sale. If you're interested, please reach out. The link to the site where it's being sold is down below. You can reach me there. And before I go, the one thing I should say is, if you are still watching this video and you saw an ad before this video, I don't know whether Google or YouTube is showing you ads or not, but if they are, just know that I'm not getting any proceeds from that. That's all. That I'm creating these videos and they're getting all of the love. But if you should subscribe and show me that support, which costs you nothing, that'll help me reach the goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, which is my goal, and that'll allow me to monetize this account, and then I will retire rich and drive Lamborghinis. No, probably not. What it'll mean is I'll get a few bucks every month to pour into my next project, which is what I want to do. So show me some love. I would super appreciate it. For everyone who's subscribed recently, it's been amazing. The support has been absolutely unbelievable. I appreciate you guys so much. So get sailing, get on the water, let's have some fun together. See you in the next one. Bye.